has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back, guys, to Woodward Wolverines, your college football show where we talk all things Michigan football. I'm one of your hosts, Haley Scott, and I'm joined here to my right with Justin Satawa, and we have Ryan in the TD booth. How's it going, guys? Justin, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. We've got a lot to talk about. We got Wisconsin coming up, big noon kickoff, as Michigan always does have. But before we dive into that, we have to get something off the chest here. I personally have rode this narrative hard from the jump of the season. And when I saw Penn State was ranked number 2 in the country to kick off this football season, I knew it must have been a joke, because my eyes did not deceive me on Saturday night. The illustrious whiteout game, James Franklin's coming out party, Drew Aller, the first-round draft pick, came crumbling down like we all expected, like they do every time. There's a reason why they're barely over 60% win percentage when doing the stupid whiteout, because it doesn't matter. On top of that, am I the only person that thinks that they are at a competitive disadvantage for not wearing white jerseys during the whiteout? They literally, the defensive backs on the other team can be in the sea of white that the Penn State fan base gives them. And I think Drew Aller must have been seeing all the white jerseys of Oregon when he threw that pick in overtime. I mean, absolute disaster class from Drew Aller, from James Franklin. They always find a way to lose it. And also, I low-key love Dan Lanning. Like, he is an absolute sicko. And I know this is Woodward Wolverines. We're keeping it in the Big Ten because the title of the show today is Michigan a Big Ten threat? And we'll get into that. But for now, you know who's not a threat? Penn State. They never were. They never are. They're always going to be a wash. And hopefully, we can only hope that we get to continue to hate watch our way to them firing James Franklin after a brutal stretch of Big Ten play that they have coming up when they travel to Iowa, to Ohio State, and then play Indiana. Hopefully they go 8-4, and we can say bye-bye to James Franklin.
I wouldn't say they go 8-4, but I mean, Justin, that's the craziest take I think I've heard anyone say, is that Penn State can't win the big one. That's crazy to me. I've never heard that one before. But no,
I was told. I was told by the national media this year that they were the best team on the face of the earth. They were the best team in college football. They should be ranked number 1. They have everyone returning, everyone coming back. Penn State is the best team in all the Big Ten, regardless of never winning a big game. Yeah, no. No, you can't tell me I was not told that. I was told that time after time this offseason, and that Drew Aller was the truth, and the only truth about him is that he's a bag of dicks.
I personally was not on the Penn State hype train whatsoever, but I think where the hype came from was what Michigan did in 2023 and what Ohio State did last season, where it brings back a ton of veteran players on defense and offense, a great ground game. You have 2 good backs in Singleton and Katron Allen, and then, just one running back for Michigan, and then in Travion and Quinshon Judkins for Ohio State. But everything was, oh my gosh, Michigan did it, Ohio State did it, Penn State's going to be the team to do it. But once again, big game James pulls it up, and I got a question. Does it come down to the players for Penn State, or is it the coaching? Because it's been going on for like 10 years that they can't get it done.
Absolutely coaching, except Drew Aller. I mean, Drew Aller is a disaster waiting to happen every single time. You saw it in the fourth quarter, in the overtime, throwing into a triple coverage. There was not a soul open on that side of the field, and he threw it right into triple coverage for the game-stealing interception. But I'm going to bring it back because this is a Michigan show. So I'm coming from a place of reason with this rant, okay?
Well, just to conclude that, even at the game, people were chanting Fire Franklin by the time fourth quarter came around. So your take on that is agreed by many.
I will say this, though. Who is Penn State going to hire? Like, who would Penn State hire?
You know who.
Oh, you think Signetti?
You think Franklin. All right, but I got to bring it back, okay? I got to bring it back. I do my due diligence here and bring it back to Michigan, okay? What I saw on the field on Saturday, okay, the only thing the only thing that scared me in terms of the Big Ten landscape and Michigan having a chance to win it is how good Dante Moore was. And I told everyone he's going to be very good this year. He could be a Heisman candidate, and he's come out and he's showed that he is arguably the class at quarterback in the Big Ten. Him and Julian Sand right now are neck and neck for the best quarterback in the Big Ten. So now I ask you, with how that Penn State defense looked, do either of those teams scare you in terms of Michigan? If we were to play them on a neutral site field, because we don't play them in the regular season, would you be afraid to play either of them?
Either Penn State or Oregon?
Yes.
I would say Oregon over Penn State. I think they're definitely more scary because of the mobile QB, and Dante Moore is really starting to sprout before our eyes. And I think Dan Lanning, for some reason, you mentioned it, he's a psycho. He somehow gets his guys ready for every single game. However, Dan Lanning has lost a lot of big games. You look back to against Washington 2 times with Michael Penix and those guys, and then Ohio State last year. So I wouldn't say like I'm the most scared to play either of these teams, but I would pick Oregon over Penn State simply because James Franklin and Drew Allard does not scare me whatsoever, but I would take Oregon and be more scared of.
And chat, let us know if either of those teams look like they were unbeatable on Saturday night. That was a primetime game. Oregon looks good. All right, I'll give Oregon credit. Oregon deserved to be moved up to number 2 in the polls all day. Also, AP poll trash. Oh, my Lord. Don't even get me started on that.
It's
However,
horrible.
That Penn State team, they were down. They were down 14 in the fourth quarter, and they had a miraculous comeback. They almost got it done, but those were garbage time points. Is that – I don't fear them. I think that Penn State's beatable, and the way that Penn State was able to run the ball, if they had a playmaker at quarterback –
In my lifetime, the only Penn State team that has ever scared me is Saquon Barkley's Penn State team in 2017, I think, with Trace McSorley and Mike Gesicki and Saquon Barkley. That was the only time a Penn State team has ever scared me. When Michigan went there without Jim Harbaugh, that did not scare me because Drew Allard sucked. When they came to the big house with Sean Clifford, they sucked. Did not scare me. When they came to the big house with just Trace McSorley and Saquon was gone, they had Miles Sanders.
McSorley.
No Penn State team has ever scared me outside of that 2017 team with Trace McSorley and Saquon.
And the Dole Spoon. I'm not scared by anyone. Go Blue. Hey, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. And I wouldn't be scared. Haley, do you want to give are you scared of Penn State or Oregon?
I mean, definitely Oregon's more scary, especially in Dante Moore. In the game against Penn State, I was just reading this. Dante Moore. Damn, I lost it. Give
It's
me
all good.
1 sec.
Well, the one thing that Michigan does have going for them right now is they are getting a few of their injured players in a healthier spot. I'm not going to say that they're going to be fully healthy because that's to be seen. But the big thing that Sharon Moore talked about this week was getting Michigan healthy over the bye and making sure that all those guys who have been dealing with those injuries, like the Hadiz and the Hogan Hansons, are all getting healthy. So from Sharon Moore, he said his number one priority was getting healthy during this bye week. He feels like several guys have gotten a lot better, including Brady Norton, El Hadi, Hogan Hanson, and Jair Hill. 4, in my opinion, pretty essential players to this Michigan roster, and especially that offensive line, getting them back right now before you're about to go out to USC, who I think we are going to handle very, very well. The fact that we're going to be able to run the ball as much as we want on them is even more clear to me now after watching Illinois do it.
I will say this about El Hadi. El Hadi and Greg Crippen, fantastic game against Nebraska. El Hadi did not play. But this is a very young offensive line, as I mentioned, for a couple of weeks now. You look at Andrew Sprague and Evan Link, still both young tackles. Brady Norton is the first year at Michigan. I think he's like a redshirt sophomore or something like that. But I think if you can get El Hadi back, it really brings some veteran leadership to that offensive line room. A guy that was a part of probably the greatest offensive line in Michigan football history from 2021 to 2023, all those guys. So he knows what needs to happen for this offensive line to be successful. But I think getting El Hadi is the most important guy to get back onto this team. I would like to see Rod Moore fully healthy as well and be playing meaningful snaps, but I still have I think this Michigan secondary, youth-wise, the limit for this secondary going forward with Jaden Sanders and Elijah Dotson and Shamari Earls is unreal about what those young guys can do.
I will say I do believe that it's been the perfect timing for Michigan to have their bye week, and they have extra time, obviously, with Sharon Moore having to miss those past 2 games. I would expect to see like a nice clean slate out of everyone. That's not to say that I don't think Biff Poggi did a great job in being the interim head coach, but I am very interested to see how Sharon Moore has improved, hopefully, his coaching style, especially with the common theme of hopefully letting Bryce Underwood run that ball.
I think that's a great point, Haley. I think that the bye week getting reacclimated to how Sharon Moore is going to call games versus how Biff Poggi calls games, I think there is a slight difference there. And I do think that it's going to just add another element and wrinkle to how good this offense can be when you give them the time to actually go watch the film and install. Like, they got 2 weeks to install their rest of their offense, and you already saw how it took a jump when they started running Bryce Underwood against Nebraska and moving him throughout the pocket, and he flourished in the pass game as well. A couple of drops by his receivers that would have caused him to have a monster day in the air. However, this offense is still going to continue week after week getting better.
I agree.
It is unfair to compare Oklahoma versus how they're going to look against Wisconsin this weekend. It's not a fair comparison because there's been so much of a learning curve from Bryce Underwood in particular, and then on top of that, getting Jordan Marshall more involved. And then you're supplementing offensive linemen. There's so many keys to this Michigan offense becoming better, and by the time we get to the Ohio State game, this offense is going to be clicking on all cylinders, and they're going to know what they want, especially in the wide receiver room, which still has plenty of question marks and who is deserving of certain reps.
Definitely. I definitely want to see Samaj step up more. Like, he's been on the offense for years now, and he's had his playing time. He's been able to show what he has, but also we've talked about it before, him being possibly a gadget guy. So it's like, can he do, like, is this his ceiling? Can he do any better? And then looking at the offense in general, I think that the most inconsistent part of them is their passing game, but then opposingly their strength would definitely be in the run game. So hopefully in this game we can see an improvement in that passing game, because that's definitely going to be a necessity. Maybe not particularly against Wisconsin, but definitely against future competition.
I'll say for Wisconsin, I mean, Malik Washington of Maryland put up numbers. Ty Simpson's put up numbers. Damn near every quarterback they played has put up some really impressive numbers. So I'm really hoping that, Michigan will be able to run the ball against Wisconsin. I have no questions about that. But I would like to see, as the game kind of gets out of hand for Wisconsin, that Michigan might throw the ball a little bit. I would like to see Donovan McCulley make some really big plays. Braylon Edwards on the network, shout out to him. He mentioned after the catch of the near sideline against Nebraska, he said that looks like a number 1 catch. McCulley's rocking that number 1 jersey this year. So I would like to see them throw some kind of 50-50 balls in the end zone, especially in the red zone for Donovan McCulley. Samaj Morgan, you've got to create a play. Justin said time and time again, you have to create plays in order for Samaj Morgan to get the football. Channing Goodwin, this guy, he's had some bad drops throughout the year. Kendrick Bell doesn't play a ton of minutes. But I would say I would really like to see Andrew Marsh get the football out. I know he's a freshman. He's made some freshman mistakes so far this season, but that's a guy that I'm looking for in the wide receiver room to really, I know he's a true freshman, but I would like him to take a step as the season progresses, because I think he could be an X factor in the wide receiver room and especially offensively for this Wolverines team.
And you can be an X factor for this show by smashing that like button. We appreciate any support that you can give us. We are a family here. We're building a community, so everyone in here, Shane D, Lord, Dull Spoon, and Uncle Neil Softfeet, we appreciate you all being in here, tapping in. We got lots more to get into. And I want to go back because now we got to start talking about this Wisconsin game. I think everyone knows that Michigan's going to win this game. Like no one should be concerned about that. Wisconsin's got 3 quarterbacks. You got 3 quarterbacks. You got no quarterbacks. Okay, but they are a dumpster fire. Luke Fickell is looking like he is about to be fired. However, I disagree with you. I don't know if Michigan's going to be able to run the ball against Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a very stout run defense. They held Alabama to 3.3 yards per carry against them, and that's the same Alabama team that just got 3.1 yards per carry against Georgia. Like that's a 0.2 margin. They are in the vicinity of Georgia's defense in terms of the run game for Wisconsin. So I really do want to see, especially if Hadid's coming back, and you are starting to see this offensive line in full force, I would love to see them running the ball. But I don't expect them to. I expect them to just take what they're getting, and that's in the pass game. This Wisconsin secondary is literally the Packers logo. Swiss cheese. You can go right through that shit. There is not a single person that will be able to guard the athletes that Michigan has. Like you said, McCulley made a number 1 type of catch. There is not a single corner that's going to be able to guard that physicality and that size that Donovan McCulley possesses. The speed of Andrew Marsh and the ability of the route running from Channing Godwin. All these guys are going to be able to just break open, and we're really going to be able to hopefully see Bryce Underwood unleash even more and allow him to take the game by the throat and go out there and sling the rock around the yard and show that if you do shut down Michigan's run offense, we're still going to come at you in the air, and we're not going to just crumple into a ball and become a neutral play calling style where we're not going to take chances. This offense has a lot of talent. A lot of more talent spread around it than it has in the past. And that's why I truly do believe that we're going to get to a point where in this Wisconsin game, the run game is going to falter because they're going to stack the box and they're going to say, all right, Bryce, we're going to bring all-out pressure. We're going to make it tough on you. Beat us. Beat us on one-on-one throws. Make your receivers make that catch that Channing Godwin missed against Nebraska in one-on-one coverage when Bryce Underwood threw it right over the back shoulder. That's what's going to happen, and I hope that we get to see a very, very electric passing attack from Michigan this weekend.
There's just too many reasons why it's a no-brainer that Wisconsin does not have a chance to win this game. Like the turnover, all the different QBs, they really just don't have an identity right now. And it's honestly sad watching them because all you can feel is hopeless for them. You don't think though that Michigan will like run a lot of yards on them? Like you think Wisconsin can stop the ball pretty well?
I'm not saying that because I mean, when you got a Heisman candidate in your backfield in Justice Haynes, he's still going to find a way to pop one. But it would not surprise me if this game didn't look like a normal Michigan stat line where they have 150-plus yards of rushing and 100 yards of passing. Like that's not going to happen. I think that you're going to see 250 yards passing by Bryce Underwood, and you might see 100 yards rushing. I think it's going to be a heavier passing attack, especially because if Michigan's really, really scheming this ish up, like they have been, you got to give them credit. Since the Oklahoma game, they've come out firing on a lot of these drives. They haven't sat there and been the old Michigan, we're going to run it down your throat every single time. They've really come out, and they've come out throwing a couple times, especially with some deep shots. I expect play-action deep shots on the first drive from Michigan against Wisconsin to set the tone that we're not just going to run at you. We're going to do whatever is working, and if it's the air game, we're going to air it out.
Yeah, I would like to, Michigan's going to do what they have to do to win this game. They're obviously going to want to smash mouth football every way they play. That's what Sharon Moore said in his introductory press conference. I don't know what you're doing there.
Dude, I'm dancing. Lady Jane's is playing some bangers, okay? My bad.
Oh, gotcha. It's been EDM day, I believe, on Tuesdays or something. That's what I always hear. But anyway, I think
they know it's show day for the kid. Come on. All right. Go ahead.
But yeah, I would like to see a lot of play action pass. I think that especially in a pro style type of offense, I think Underwood would thrive. That to your point, Haley, about Wisconsin not having an identity, Wisconsin went against the Badgers' identity by hiring Luke Fickell. Wisconsin used to be a ground and pound team. You think of the great running backs like Melvin Gordon, Corey Clement was in there, Monte Ball was in there, Jonathan Taylor. Like, you think they have some great running backs. Hiring Fickle kind of gets away from running the football, kind of airing it out a little bit, spreading it out, spacing it out. That's what Michigan did with Rich Rod, and that went. And Wisconsin kind of right now. I don't know if Luke Fickle's going to be in the Big Ten and be coaching Wisconsin football anytime soon after this year. But to your point, Haley, Wisconsin and Luke Fickle have no identity going forward at all. They're very just confused.
No, definitely. Luke Fickle does not understand what Wisconsin is and needs. But for how bad...
Bill on those big whites in the trenches.
For how
those
bad...
big Wisconsin corn boys. All right, sorry.
Wisconsin is. My question is it... Like, if you're a Wisconsin fan, is it okay to boo? Like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
You were... I forgot the exact stat, but for, like, the last 20 years, they had, like, 15 10-win seasons. I mean, obviously, Wisconsin was kind of like James Franklin for the longest time. They would always kind of get there, but they would never get over the hump. Win the Big Ten outside of when they had Russell Wilson. They won the Big Ten, obviously. But if you think about it, they would get to the Rose Bowl, they would lose to Oregon, and then they would lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game when they would split up the conferences a little bit. But Wisconsin would never kind of win there, but they're used to 10-win seasons. They're used to 11-win seasons. They're used to ground and pound. Now it's like Camp Randall's not even tough to go to anymore. Cade McNamara won a damn football game in that place.
A freshman just went in there and won. Malik Washington from Maryland
Yeah.
just went in there and beat them. That used to never happen. Teams used to fear. Like, Michigan used to fold there. They
Oh, yeah,
there to
easily.
save their life for years. And now, if this game was in the inverse and we were going to Wisconsin, I still think we were going to win by 10 plus.
Oh, easily.
Like, this is not the brand of football Wisconsin has been known for their, in my entire life, in the last decade or two.
Yeah, easily.
Now they're a crumple of their old selves.
What Illinois is what Wisconsin used to be.
Yeah.
And
No,
same
that's-
coach, Bielema.
That's a great poll right there. I absolutely agree. But
To be somewhat hopeful, I think about the Week 1 game against New Mexico with Michigan. To be honest, they had a great time of possession. They had these massive long drives. And if Wisconsin has a chance, then they would need to take that approach of what New Mexico did to Michigan. Do you think that they would have any chance in doing that?
I will say, New Mexico is not that bad of a football
No.
team.
I was pleasantly surprised.
they were a well-coached team. Like, you could tell how well-coached they were. The way that they executed plays. Like, there was not a single player on that field for New Mexico who was a better athlete than any player for Michigan. However, they were so technically and coachable that they were able to expose a lot of the poor coached styles, like that was in what Michigan early season looked like trash compared to how they look now. They looked horribly coached against New Mexico, and we're far enough from that point where I will say that.
Yeah.
And nothing against Jerome Moore. It's just tough. Week 1 is hard. However, they looked like they were not there mentally, and they looked poorly coached the way that they were getting exposed on just good play call.
New Mexico, I believe, beat Boston College. I know they beat a Power 4 team, but I believe they beat Boston.
UCLA.
UCLA? Okay,
They beat UCLA.
that doesn't matter anymore. UCLA sucks.
But Nico is the truth.
Nico, I am a leaving?
Nico is worth $4 million.
Yeah, no way in hell. But anyway, I would like to see in this game, for Bryce Underwood's standpoint, kind of what he did in that 2-minute drill against New Mexico, where he's dropping back that 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, unreal anticipation throw, connects it to whatever wide receiver it was. I'm surprised they even caught the ball. But I would really like to see Bryce Underwood. What I want to see that I haven't quite seen outside of one drive against Nebraska and that 2-minute drill is a sustained kind of, they march down the field and they score a touchdown. In the red zone, I haven't seen them too much. I have not seen them in the red zone too much because it's either a Justice Haynes 75-yard touchdown run, which I'm fine with. Jordan Marshall had a 50-yard touchdown run. But I would really like to see kind of Underwood kind of sit back there, little slant, little out route, little 15-yard pass down the field. They run it for 4 or 5 yards. And it's kind of a sustained 7-8 minute drive getting down the field. They punch it in for 6. That's what I would like to see Michigan do at some point in this Wisconsin game, because when they ultimately come up against Ohio State, when they come up in the playoff, which we all expect them to make, they're going to have a drive like that in order to win a big football game.
speaking of quarterbacks, that quarterback matchup against Wisconsin is just sad, honestly, looking at Wisconsin's quarterbacks, as many as they have, because their go-to guy was Billy Edwards.
Yeah, he was offered by Michigan in the offseason, too, by the way.
But he got injured early on, and his status is still, like, up in the air. So then his backup was Danny O'Neal, and he's been literal trash. And then the third string is possibly Hunter Simmons, which I don't know too much about him. But if you're on your third string, then there's pretty much no hope for you.
As Vince Carter says, it's over.
It's over.
We saw it last year with Michigan and the way that they jumbled around their quarterback room.
I think
it is literally, without the athleticism of Alex Orji, that is the Wisconsin quarterback room.
I think
literally imagine O'Neal is John O'Korn, Edwards is, and I know O'Korn wasn't on the team last year. Okay,
John O'Korn. Oh my god!
But like that's the standard. Like imagine if
PTSD.
you had Tuttle, O'Korn, and Davis Warren as your 3 starting quarterbacks, and you were just sitting there with your hand on your ankles because you're just like, oh boy, here we go again.
I think last year Donovan Edwards was our best quarterback. I truly believe that. Like, he threw some touchdown passes, for crying out loud.
That's a crazy pull.
And honestly, if I'm Wisconsin, I'm like trying to draw up some plays for my wide receivers to throw the ball, running backs to throw the ball, because they need to somehow air that thing out a little bit. But honestly, I think Donovan Edwards might have been our best running back last year. But when you have 3 quarterbacks, you don't have one at all. And but yeah.
It's the old cliche, always stands true. But, however, what's not supposed to stand true is the fact that this wide receiver room needs a shakeup, okay? And Sharon Moore even said it. It's whatever receivers are performing in practice, that's who we're going to go with on Saturday. Andrew Marsh, I pray to the sweet heavens that you had a great week of practice because you should be getting reps on this football team. You are a stud waiting to be unlocked. And we have got guys like Samaj Morgan who can't even catch a drag route and get a first down, okay? I can't stand, honestly, it genuinely bothers me that how much Samaj Morgan plays. And at the point as well, this game means nothing. Like Wisconsin is not in the class of Michigan. Even if Michigan's on a down year, all right? They need to figure out what the best combination of these receivers, these tight ends are, and they need to stick with it, and they need to allow Bryce Underwood to grow with them as a unit, and they need to get everyone who can make plays on the field. Do I want to see Samaj Morgan in some capacity? Yes, as a gadget guy. Do I want to see Andrew Marsh in some capacity? Yes, I want to see him on the slot routes that Samaj Morgan currently runs. Do I want to see more of Channing Godwin? Absolutely. He's making freshman mistakes, but by the end of the year, he will be a very solid wide receiver for this offense. Marlon Klein is getting well acclimated back where he's not the only option. I think, honestly, Marlon Klein getting hurt might have been one of the best things to possibly happen to Bryce Underwood because he was staring down the barrel looking for Marlon Klein every single time he dropped back to pass. Now he's making reads. He's more comfortable with McCulley. He's more comfortable throwing out of the backfield to Haynes or Marshall. He's more comfortable with his backup tight end Hogan. Like, everything is more together. It is awesome to see. I'm not glad he got hurt, but it might have ended up being a very good thing for this team. The fact that now Bryce Underwood, he still has the safety blanket, and he'll return to form where he is one of the best tight ends in the Big Ten. But he now trusts, because McCulley and him had no chemistry in week 1 or 2.
Yeah, it didn't really happen until the Nebraska game that just happened. Kind of thought of that little out route he had or a screen or whatever it was where he broke a tackle. The one downfield on the sideline, which Braylon called that number 1 play. But listen, Sharon, this offseason, we have the second wealthiest man running your NIL, Larry Ellenson. Ask him. We need 2 top-end wide receivers. We need to make it happen. Give Bryce some weapons. That's what you tell Larry. You tell Larry we need 2 wide receivers, and you spend that damn money to get us 2 top-end wide receivers.
And they're gonna. Don't you worry. I said it last week. In the next 3 years, Michigan will have a first-round wide receiver.
And
whether that's one of these freshmen or whether that's a transfer portal guy, but there will be someone.
Well, I was just going to go back to Andrew Marsh. like you said, I completely agree. Like, he has so much potential. We haven't seen enough of him just yet, but I do think his ceiling is very, very high. And he's shown some great flashes. And I agree with you. And hopefully he's had time to take a break in this bye week, practice, watch the videos, and just hopefully they give him more playing time, because I want to see him go from a good freshman playmaker to like transcending into like a step up from that, because you're right, like Samaj Morgan is just not cutting it.
No, he's not. And here, you want to hear some pretty damning stats? I'll give you them. Samaj Morgan hit on the year 11 receptions, 143 yards, a touchdown and a fumble. He also has 2 carries for 14 yards.
How many drops does it say?
No, it does not. I'd have
Probably
to
like 6.
dig deeper for the drops. Andrew Marsh, one reception for 30 yards, 1 fumble, 1 carry, 23 yards, and a touchdown.
When did he fumble?
Kickoff.
Oh, kickoff.
And if I'm not mistaken, Marsh has 2 targets on the season, and Samaj Morgan probably has 20.
Yeah, and that other target came in that New Mexico game, or I think it was the New Mexico game, where Marsh wasn't even looking when the pass came, so they must have missed it. But I want to ask you guys a question, because it's kind of been popping up recently and with El Hadi. Is this offensive line where you want it to be going forward?
I don't know. That's a tough question, because it's not like, and it's hard to say up to standard, because
it's not.
This is a different coaching staff. So maybe they have different standards of what looks good for their offensive line. But in terms of the standard that Jim Harbaugh set here for the last couple years, no. They're not physically dominant where you can line up bunch power set and you can just run the ball at will regardless of how many people are in the box. That was how Michigan was able to play football. Now they run better out of the spread.
Yeah, that's also Chip Lindsey's offense.
It is. That's a fair point. However, they run better in spread. Anytime they bunch it, they botch their drives. And there's no Zach Zinters on this line. There are no NFL first-round draft picks on this line this year, like how there has been the last 3 years.
For how good Michigan's defense is,
See, y'all are chirping me, and now you guys are getting groovy.
I know, I like
It's
it.
John Summit playing, so I had to.
I know that I got this feeling. Michigan's offense is just like not.
Justin hates
It's just
us.
not there yet. And I've been saying Bryce Underwood still does not have receivers that he can rely on, and he needs that. And we've said this before, like next year I think really will be their year. But yeah, no, the offensive line is not. It's not there yet. But I think further into the season, yes, it will get better. But I just don't think that this year it's going to be like a complete line for them.
I got a great question. Who has the bigger improvement towards the back half of the year? The offensive line or the defensive line?
I would have to say the offensive line, because the defensive line is playing fantastic. I don't really know what else they can do.
Exactly.
They had what?
They have a few guys who could be playing better. Like
Who?
Payne could be playing better.
Who?
Payne.
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
Payne could be playing better. Trey Williams could be playing better. Benny's playing great. Barham's playing great. TJ Guy,
the guys on the
and
edge,
Derek
Moore,
both
the
had
linebacker play,
great
all that
games.
looks great.
Yep.
But yeah, the offensive line would obviously see a bigger improvement because there's more to be improved.
Shout out Juwan Kwan I'm dyslexic. I apologize. Dwan Keen, Woodward Sports Chat. Let's go Michigan Wolverines football. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you being here. Lions also released Ronnie Bell.
Damn.
Rip the ex-Michigan
Yeah,
Wolverine.
I will, and former basketball player stand up. But I do want to add this, though. Lou Esposito, the defensive line coach, who is phenomenal defensive line coach. Gotta look what he's done over the last couple of years. He mentioned about the D tackles preseason. Trey Williams and Demon Payne he's like, these guys are not going to be flashy. They just need to stop the run. And I mean, I guess no running back has absolutely torched us. So I mean, I guess that's fine. But absolutely, I mean, you guys look at a guy like a Rayshon Benny, and he's been fine. So I think Trey Williams, even at Clemson, he struggled a little bit, especially in that Texas game. He was getting moved off the ball with ease. So I think absolutely those two guys need to play a little bit better. But at the same time, those two guys are put in the position to just stop the run. That's what Esposito has absolutely said. And I also think we are spoiled by having 2 top 15 draft picks at that defensive tackle position that have absolutely torn it up. And that's kind of what we're expecting. But we will never, ever replicate that ever again at Michigan.
No, we probably won't. And we'll see if this defensive line, because they have a chance. I'm not ready to say it yet. But they have a chance to be all around as a unit, okay? The whole D-line, okay? Let's not misconstrued my words here because that's bound to happen with what I'm about to say. There is a chance that the entire D-line is deeper and better all around than it was last year. Okay?
Oh, easily.
Because the last year's D-line was purely defensive tackle ran. Kenneth Grant and Mason Grant.
Josiah Stewart wasn't bad.
Josiah Stewart was also very good. However, Barham is better.
It's because they also moved Barham. Barham used to be a linebacker, and now he's strictly an edge.
That was a transcendent move by this defense. That made this defense elite. I was questioning the sideline-to-sideline speed of this defense because the D-line couldn't stop the run. And New Mexico ran it a little bit on us. And that was concerning, especially with the level of athlete that this defense has. Barham going down to the D-line, bringing Sullivan and Boulder in as that second linebacker or third linebacker, depending on set, made this D-line actually be 7-8 man deep, rotation, everyone eats, everyone is a very, very good defensive lineman in college, and that's how you win in college football. They might have one of the best D-lines in the country.
I also think their linebackers are really solid. I'm a big Cole Sullivan guy. Jimmy Rolder is solid as well. Ernest Hausman, just a linchpin back there since like 2023, 2022, whenever he came back in. But their linebackers are great. Their defensive line is really impressed me. They are doing a lot better than I thought they would do. And isn't it kind of funny? Like, if we look back 365 days prior to right now, Wink Martindale was kind of the scapegoat for Michigan football. Like, looking back at that Texas
wanted to
game,
fire him.
and I believe Oregon was in there. Look at all those teams, and now look at them. I mean, they were solid in the second half of last year. You look at the Indiana game; they could have easily won. Ohio State held them to 10. Bama was 10 or 13 points. I forget the exact number, but Wink Martindale has really kind of changed the trajectory of himself at Michigan by the way that defense has played from the second half of the season last year to right now.
It also just goes to show, like, how fast things change. Literally, like you said, how, like, last year he was kind of, like, on the chopping block. People didn't really believe him. And then how good the D-line is. It just goes to show, like, you never know. You know what I mean? And the game of football and, like, the, like, coordinator side and the player side is so, like, fast changing that I don't know, it's like people, like the media especially, like whenever a big game happens or how a team is doing, they're so quick to want to like cut off one of the coordinators or coaches. Do you think that's like a valid take?
No, I think everything is so amplified in college football because it can swing so quick. And especially in the new age transfer portal era where you're seeing programs be turned around like that. And it's not necessarily anything to do to the pedigree of the program. It's how good the coach is at recruiting.
And the transfer portal. If you can knock out the transfer portal, a.k.a. Kurt Signetti. Absolutely. I mean, look at Michigan, for instance. I mean, look at them last year. They could not throw the damn forward pass. And then they spent $12 million on Bryce Underwood. And they have it now. And then they bring in a guy like Donovan McCulley. They bring in a guy like Justice Haynes. Yep. Even the offensive line had Brady Norton's one of those guys that they brought in. But, I mean, college football in general has changed so much where you can absolutely change it just like that, like you guys have said. So, absolutely, it can change or amplify how these coaches and want to change it so quickly now.
How different do you think the Wisconsin team would be if they did have Billy Edwards?
I think maybe they lose by like a touchdown less than they would normally against Michigan. I don't know. Billy Edwards did not impress me a ton at Maryland last year. So I think maybe they lose, instead of losing by 24 points, they lose by 17.
This is a broken program. This is a broken program.
This is what Michigan looked like in like 2013, 2014.
Yep. They have no identity. They're so far away from their culture and their history as an organization. It's over, man. Fickle, hang it up. All right. Hang out with us, though, please, as you just entertain me for a second, okay? I love talking about the national landscape of college football. And Ryan did his work to create some good questions, some good conversation. We'll hit that. We'll give you the picks. Spoiler alert, me and Haley had great weeks. Ryan, not so much. Still above 500, though.
Hey, that's all that matters. Stay above 500. That's all I care about.
We're all eating good here, so stay tuned for that. But Ryan, take it away, man. Give us these questions. Make sure if you have a response, a reaction, drop it in the chat. Or if you just want to drop some magical hate about James Franklin and Penn State or Ohio State, always welcome.
Yeah, so you answered one of my questions earlier, Justin, by I was going to ask if Dante Moore is the real thing, and I would agree that he is, and you guys already touched on it. But I'm going to start off with Alabama. Kalen DeBoer has his seat cooled after that Georgia win this past weekend.
Absolutely, and this is why you can't jump on things when stuff happens. That Florida State game, the more that we're going away from it, I do think Florida State's a good team. More on that in the picks because they play Miami this week. However, I do truly believe that the style of football that Florida State plays with Tommy Castellanos was so... They were gifted that rainy day. That rainy day where it was torrential downpour in Tallahassee, where Alabama's offense, which is, as you've seen, predicated on throwing the football. They cannot run the ball. Like they are not good at running the ball. They absolutely were slinging it around the yard against Georgia.
That's why Justice Haynes left.
I think it was just a styles make fights type of day. Florida State ended up winning.
Yeah, I think
Alabama's good. DeBoer's seat is safe. He stopped a 33 straight win streak at home for Georgia, which is the longest in the country, which was extremely impressive for him to do. However, a lot of season left to go.
Yeah, I think it's definitely cooled off a little bit for him, but I want to go back to Georgia now. Kirby Smart has lost his magic. You look back, 2022. Since then, did not make the playoff in 2023. Did not beat Notre Dame. They lost to Notre Dame last year, and now they have that Alabama loss. Has Kirby Smart lost his magic since 2022?
I don't think so. I think that was just one of those days where it doesn't fall your way. Georgia controlled that game from the jump. It might be Kirby Smart to reevaluate what he's doing at the quarterback position. He might want to get a Maserati up in there instead of a minivan.
Maserati,
However, it's not over. They're just getting started. That Georgia team is going to be there in the end. They're going to be a playoff team. They ran the ball on Alabama all day. If they played each other again, I would take Georgia.
All right, and now going a little bit local here with the Wolverines. Sharon Moore is the problem offensively.
I think this game will be maybe I guess since it's against Wisconsin, that doesn't really say a lot. But maybe these couple of weeks will be...
It will be answered. If the offense is called differently this week,
yeah,
it will because Sharon Moore is the head coach and not Biff Poggi.
Especially if you have a bye week and you haven't been coaching these past couple of games, then there should be no other excuse.
Absolutely.
So it has been a question, I feel like, as of recently, if he is the problem, if he's the worst staff member on the team. But, yeah, I think we're about to find out.
I think it's full speed ahead. I think this offense is going to do whatever it takes to win now. I don't think anything's being held back.
Yeah, I would say wait till what happens going forward. And then I got two more questions for you guys. One in the ACC, one back in the SEC. Miami. They've already won the ACC, and it's not even halfway over yet.
They're Miami. Coached by Mario Cristobal. It's never over till it's over. And you saw it last year. They choked it right away in the last game of the season. Controlled their own destiny. Just had to beat an unranked team. I don't even remember.
It was an unranked team.
Yep. Choked it, lost out in the ACC. It's going to happen again.
I have a lot of faith in Miami.
I know you
since day
do.
one.
It's
So-
all about the U. It's all about the U. Question in the comment here in the Woodward Sports Chat. Dwayne Keene says Michigan will be fine and do our thing with this game. And then A. Green says Miami will fold. So they're with you guys, or with you, Justin, at least. And then my last question: the SEC, Oklahoma's out of the college football playoff.
I'm not ready to go there yet. Mateer's supposed to be out for 2 more weeks. They got Kent State this week. Probably
the
going to miss
worst
the
team.
Red River Shootout, which, hot take, I think they can win without him.
What? Arch Manning's the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. No. I think I'm not ready to call it quits on Oklahoma. They still have a really good defense that could push them until Mateer is back. Mateer coming back at any point still gives them a shot because I wouldn't put him past him for him to go on some insane run against their schedule and squeak out 10-2. I don't think that's off the table at all.
I wouldn't say they're out, but their chances are definitely pretty shaky. Like the
Yep.
margin for error is very small, and their schedule is
A
pretty
lot of
tough.
good teams in the SEC
Yeah.
too. Lots of landmines on that schedule.
Yeah, I would say Mateer was out like a month now, so I think they could definitely ride the wave a little bit. But I mean, I do not firmly believe that Oklahoma is in the college football playoff now. I think they're kind of still like they're now like moved to like a bubble team from instead of a sure in at A Green in the Woodward Sports Chat. They'll never be Miami of old. Yeah, no one will ever be the Miami of old. Like that is 2001 is the greatest college football team of all time. When you have Hall of Famers as third stringers, Green. Yeah, that's just not happening. But that is my final question. So
If Mateer isn't back by week 8 against South Carolina, they're cooked because after the Red River rivalry, they play at South Carolina, home against Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri at home, and LSU at home. That's a gauntlet as hell. I would not want to play that schedule without my starting quarterback.
yeah, easily. I would not want to start that without Mateer. And speaking of South Carolina, really quick question for you, Justin: is Beamer fired if South Carolina doesn't do anything this year? I mean, he's got like damn near #1 overall pick according to some people in the Lenora Sellers.
I'd say the seat's hot. I'm not ready
Okay.
to call it quits on him, but the seat's definitely warm. That's for sure. And you know who else is warm? I am. I'm hot
Because of these
because
picks.
the last 3 weeks I have given you 6-2, 6-2, 5-1, and 5-2. I am absolutely blistering right now in the pick segment.
He's hot.
22-9 on the year. 5-1 with my best bets. Suffered my first loss last week.
Don't touch him. He's
Was
sizzling.
very tough on Washington, but Haley, great week. 5-2. This 19-12. Huge 2 weeks for you. You were sitting at 10-10 2 weeks ago. Now you're at 19-12. You're really making an impact here.
I think I'm getting better at like watching the games and reading them.
Week to week.
Yeah,
You're
week to
seeing
week.
how each week affects the next.
Yeah, definitely.
See, there you go. Look at Haley.
I'm
She's
learning.
getting it over here.
I'm
And then
learning.
Ryan, unfortunately, your worst week to date.
Hey,
4-3,
above 500.
And you are 16-7 though.
Over 500. That's all that matters.
So, I mean, hey, all of us are shooting with a great clip, all right? Last week, though, you guys got fooled a couple times. I got fooled twice on the Arkansas game and the Washington game. I was never in the building in the Arkansas game. Arkansas looked like shit.
That's a hot team,
Point
by the
blank,
way.
period. Washington had every chance to cover that game and just couldn't. You fell for Indiana.
Yeah, way to go,
recency
Signetti.
bias, which was surprising. You always pick against Indiana. You finally cave and pick with them. They fuck you. That was pretty funny. And then, Haley, you did a great job. I mean, you just got fooled by Alabama, which that was a tough one. I told you
Which
though.
is okay. Yeah, I know.
Vegas was reeling on that one. All right, let's get to it though. Everyone should be happy. Is
Yeah.
everyone happy?
Yeah, I'm above 500.
happy.
That's all that matters.
The vibes are high.
Vibes
We're
are high.
chilling and grilling. All right, good. Because I'm excited. This isn't the best week of football that we've had. The last 3 have been unbelievable. This one, slight downtick, but I think there's some sneaky good games here. We're going to start it off with the second coming of Jesus Christ traveling into Gainesville. Arch Manning playing Florida. The absolute dumpster fire they are. 7 is the spread. We will start over at Miss Haley Scott.
Yes, so Arch Manning, I feel like he's had quite the journey, of course. There's been lots of expectations in him, of course. But to start off his season, he maybe surprised some people in his poor performance, of course, against Ohio State. And then he had like 10 incompletions against UTEP. So it's been like a slow progression, but I have seen definitely some improvement. Opposingly, when you look at DJ Lagway, like his performance has not been good this season, in my opinion, and also his expectations were high. But for that reason, I'm going to give that to Texas because I only see their team and Arch Manning just doing better.
See, this
every
is
game.
For 7 points. That's a little tricky because Florida has played, LSU tight down to 10 points, and then they played Miami tight for a while there. They only lost by 2 touchdowns. But 7 points, I think that's at Gainesville. Florida in desperation mode at this point. Billy Napier fighting for his job.
Come on, Ryan, do it. Come on. Come on, Ryan.
I think I'm going to say Texas will win. Texas will win, but
you want to.
I don't think they cover 7 points.
You want to.
I don't. I'll take the points with Florida, but Texas will win. But I'm gonna take Florida with the points.
Yes, you will, Ryan. There we go. Way to read the spread, killer. All right. Florida is just brain trauma in terms of a football team. They are just, you can't even predict what they're gonna do. DJ Lagway turns into Drew Aller, but then at other points, he's Johnny Manziel. So I don't know what to do. However,
he's also coming off 2 of his worst performances in his career.
And if literally he is so due, he has to be so due. Like I cannot see my boy go down like this. I'm going down with the ship if I have to. Give me Florida plus 7.
Wow.
I do not believe in Arch Manning. I am so far off the train. I so believe that this Texas team is going 9-3. They are not good. Arch Manning is going to be a generational bust if he gets drafted on name value alone. Give me Florida plus 7. I don't know what to do other than just take Florida and just plug my nose, and because Florida's going to cover a spread. They haven't covered in 3 weeks, and they've been literally a ball hair away from covering every single week. Vegas doesn't lose. Give me Florida. Continuing on. This one, I just love this game, okay? This is a sicko game, so indulge me, okay? Washington travels to Maryland, all right? Mid-Big Ten game at the peak of it. However, elite quarterback matchup. Damon Williams. I told you that kid was special. He showed you against Ohio State. That was criminal the way that his defense did him last week. They travel to play the best freshman in the country, Malik Washington of Maryland.
This is going to be a really interesting one. I do think that Washington's defense is definitely going to challenge Malik Washington, and that quarterback matchup is going to be really good. I do think Malik Washington is great, but he'll be even better with years to come, and I'm going to swing Washington.
Washington on the bounce back spot. The line is 6.5, Ryan. Maryland is the dog.
Yeah, I've learned from last week. I actually have the spreads pulled up on my phone. Washington didn't win an away game at all last year.
They did not.
So Washington minus 6.5 on the road. Maryland's a tricky place to play as always, too. Maryland plus 6.5.
I believe they're playing at noon.
3:30.
That's still tough.
I'm gonna take Maryland. I still think Washington. They haven't won a war. I'm gonna say Maryland. Give me Maryland. Give me the Terps. I know Loxley or whatever the coach is. He's on the hot seat. But Malik Washington, impressive performance last week. Give me the Terps. Give me the Terps.
I'm with you. Give me the Terps plus 6.5. That Washington defense sucks, man. Holy crap. They couldn't get a stop to save their life. Every single time they had an opportunity to, Ohio State would hit them with a 20-yard play. Also, the fact that they have to get off the mat after the most anticipated game of their season, They got to travel all the way across the country with the fatigue that comes after you play Ohio State. Give me Maryland. I think that this game is going to be tight. I don't know if they'll win because Damon Williams is a dog, but I do think Malik Washington will go bar for bar with him, and it's going to be a great game. All right, on to the next one. This game intrigues the shit out of me. The Storm Fielding Surge, the Virginia Cavaliers, travel to play Louisville, one of my sneaky wagons. Ranked 24, fresh off the upset of Florida State. Louisville's 7-point favorite.
Yeah, this is definitely another interesting one, as this is probably going to be one of Virginia's biggest games. I think the biggest question is in the quarterbacks, and with Chandler Morris and Miller Moss, who will thrive the best under pressure. And looking at past games, Chandler Morris has been better at thriving under pressure. I think that Miller Moss is good when he has like clean pockets and when everything is set up correctly around him, but he hasn't been doing well under pressure. I'm going to go with Virginia on this one, and I hope to see like a little bit of an upset.
This feels like a letdown spot for me. I really do, because that's like the greatest Storm field I've ever seen in my life. Like, that was absolute pure cinema, the way the ball hit, and then all thousands of fans, students rushing the field. Never been a big fan of Miller Moss, even when at his time at USC. I think he's a little bit of a bitch, personally.
All right, aggressive.
I'm gonna take Louisville at -6.5. I feel like this is a prime letdown spot for a team like Virginia.
I agree. I like Louisville -7. I think they're gonna whoop Virginia. I think Virginia's frauds. I think that's just one of those games, like the air just feels right in Virginia on that night against Florida State. It's just one of those times, and it's not going to be that time in Louisville on Saturday. Louisville's got one of the best running backs in the country in Isaac Brown. I personally do like Miller Moss. I think he is a good quarterback, and they're going to be rowdy. They just absolutely dismantled Pitt in the second half after going down by 12 plus points. I really like Louisville here. I think they're going to smack Virginia.
Damn. Their offensive line hasn't been that great, though, I thought.
I don't think Virginia's D-line is that good.
Fair.
Styles make fights, and Louisville's making that fight. All right, speaking of letdown spots, number 16 Vanderbilt travels to number 10 Alabama. Huge matchup.
Yeah. Especially because Bama lost this game last year, right?
Yes, they did.
And I think a big reason why they lost this game is that they couldn't possess the football and they turned over the ball too much, which obviously if they do that again, then I guess there's a possibility Vanderbilt could win this game. Vanderbilt is very, interesting to me. I feel like they have a really good identity. And they know that they can, trust themselves. They have a good defense. I worry about the personnel that on the outside that matches up against Bama's. And I think for that reason, I'm going to go with Alabama, but I would like to see some more ground presence in this game. But yeah, Bama's definitely going to be coming out for revenge, of course, after last year.
See, I think Pavia's talked a lot of shit this offseason, so is their head coach. And Bama heard about it. Bama definitely heard about it this whole offseason. 10.5 is what this is saying. And it's in Tuscaloosa. Give me Bama. I know it's a little bit of a letdown spot after that Georgia game, but give me Bama. Give me the Tide. I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
All right, here we go. Splitting the highway here. This is a letdown spot for Alabama. They just had the biggest win of Kalen DeBoer's career at Alabama. Come home and your reward is to play the grittiest team in all of the SEC.
I agree with that.
A team that is literally going to be playing like it's their Super Bowl in Tuscaloosa. Give me Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt plus 10.5.
Wow.
I think this is going to be a close game. Also, Vandy actually has some nice weapons. I think they're going to be able to put up a couple points against Alabama.
No, I think Vandy's a good team, but I just think Bama, based off last year, is going to kill them.
Give me Vanderbilt.
Commodores.
Ass. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the game. Just saying. I wouldn't bet it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be mad.
All right. Down to Haley's favorite program in all the land, and she looks like she goes there. Miami, number 3,
What the hell
travels
is that supposed to mean?
You look like you would go to the University of Miami.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
Like, you look like sunshine and rainbows.
I will take that.
Like, you just, exude happiness and sunshine. And that's where, like, would you not go to the university? Dude,
No,
you went to UNC Charlotte.
yeah. No, I would.
That's closer to
I wouldn't mind
Miami
it.
than it is to a Big Ten school.
I will take any place that has sunshine, and for that reason, I'm taking Miami on this game.
She'll
I
never
expect
back
to
down
see.
from her Miami side.
I think Miami's defense is going to make a big stop late in this game, and
Needs to be tight though.
bring home. Yeah, because Florida State's plus 4.5. So yeah, I think it could be close.
Could be tight.
Yeah.
I'm with you too, Haley. I've always liked Miami. Even when they're
yeah.
trash, I still like Miami.
I love the U. I just can't.
4.5 on the road. Castellano stuff. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Letdown. We've talked about the up-down theory. Interesting.
Up down theory.
I'm gonna say Miami. Oh, dude, they always have those field goals too. That's right. In this rivalry, yeah, I'm gonna take Florida State plus 4.5, but Miami wins it by 3.
Oh. Give me the Seminoles. I love that chant, by the way. One of the best chants in all of college football. I think that last week against Virginia was a look-ahead spot for Florida State. They got a little
It's a great rivalry.
too in front of their skis last week, thinking about Miami. They ended up losing on the road at Virginia. They now get to come home. They have a chance to prove to the world that they're a playoff team. Like, if you win this game, they're going to make the playoff. Like, it's that simple. Like, they are a playoff team if they win this game. They control their schedule. They're going to have only one loss. Give me Florida State plus 4.5. I think they probably win the game. I always take the points, though. I think this is going to be a great game. Florida State at night.
Yeah, so I think Miami wins by 3.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Miami winning for sure. I like Florida State, though. I like everyone in the chat, though. You guys have been amazing today. Make sure you keep smashing that like button. We appreciate you sticking with us in our transition to Woodward Wolverines from the College Football Show. We will catch you in next Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern p.m. as always. But make sure that you smash that like button. You drop a comment as well. It helps us with the algorithm. It sounds stupid, but you could literally say, fuck you, Justin. Fuck you, Haley. We do not care. It
But
helps
say you
us.
love Ryan.
Okay. If Ryan needs his ego inflated, so we'll make sure that he gets that. But at the end of the day, thank you guys for tuning in. From Haley, from me, from Ryan. Also, tap in Saturday. Haley and Nick will have your coverage of the Wisconsin-Michigan pregame show. They do a great job. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, they did an amazing job, and they'll continue. So thank you, and tune in to the next one. We'll see you later.